SoCal Filipinos celebrates Filipino Food Month. Today we feature Josh Espinosa, creator and executive chef of Sampa. Please welcome SoCal Filipinos founder, Jason Lucina.
What's up, SoCal Filipinos? This is Jason, your founder. We are so excited to have you all join us as we celebrate Filipino Food Month. So if you don't know, April is Filipino Food Month, and we're doing a series of talks and interviews with local chefs and businesses throughout Southern California. And today we're in for a real treat. He just opened his restaurant not too long ago, but let's welcome Josh Espinosa, creator and executive chef of Sampa. What's up, Josh?
What's up, everybody? How's everyone doing today?
I'm doing good. How are you doing? I know it's a little hot right now.
Oh yeah, it's pretty hot. I just came back from picking calamansi off a tree. But yeah, other than that, it's a good day. It's a beautiful day.
Awesome. Yeah, no, calamansi. I know I talked to my friends on the East Coast. They can't grow it there because I guess it's because of their weather.
Sorry about that. My dad's all calling me. He's probably excited. Oh yeah. Sorry about that. My dad was calling me right now.
Yeah, no, but like with calamansi, I know they're abundant here in Southern California and in LA.
Sorry.
My dad
Hello?
supplies me.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can. Can you hear me?
Wow. Sorry about that. How do you get this back? I can't hear you.
You can't hear me?
Hello?
Can you hear me?
Hello? Sorry about that. My family's calling me and stuff. I was using my phone. Hold up. Should I just leave this?
Sign off and come back in.
Okay.
So that's funny. Obviously, technical difficulties when we go live, but he was talking about calamansi, and I was just sharing that. I know that on the East Coast, I spoke to a couple of my friends that they can't grow calamansi. It's something that they wish that they had. Here in Southern California, I know that we're able to grow calamansi and it's in abundance. So it's great to have that flavor. I infuse it into a lot of the desserts that I make. So I'm really excited to talk to Josh about his process how he creates his dishes. But as we wait for him to get back, I know there's a lot of you guys watching right now. Shout out where you're calling from, or where you're watching. Are you watching this in San Diego?
I am so sorry.
You good? Can you hear me?
Yeah, I'm so sorry. My family got super excited. I'm using my phone right now, so they got super excited. They're like calling me and stuff.
Well, it's good to hear that your parents are proud. And I was just sharing about calamansi and saying, I just share with our audience that it's abundant here in Southern California. It's easiest for us to grow. It's all year round. Where compared to the East Coast, it's hard for them to grow. But to us Filipinos, we know what calamansi is. But we'll talk about it, how you infuse Filipino flavors into your dishes. But let's just go ahead and get started. Let's talk about where you grew up, because I saw that you grew up in Buena Park.
Yeah, so born and raised in Buena Park, California. It's in Orange County, so it's not really LA. I guess it's like about 20 miles away from LA. Born and raised there. Went to Kennedy High School. First off, I started off as a musician there first, when growing up. So I was a drummer. So I was into the arts back in the day. So I was drumming, and then throughout high school, I fell in love with dance. So I started break dancing. So I went through all these phases. before becoming a chef. So I went into break dancing, and then I started falling in love with dance in general. And then I found Cabo Modern. So I danced for a team called Cabo Kids. Then eventually went to try out for Cabo Modern, which I spent a long time there. Then after that, I went on to culinary school, and then I was like, you know what? I think this is it. I found my passion. And then now I'm here. I'm a chef. Just opened up a restaurant in downtown Los Angeles called Sampa. It's more of a Filipino fusion, upscale Filipino. But yeah.
No, that's awesome, because it's funny that you mentioned Cabo Modern, because I went to UCI. I'm an Irvine alumni.
Oh yeah, that's right. Zot, right? Zot.
Familiar with Cabo Modern, and my cousin actually danced for Cabo Kids many years ago.
Oh, who's your cousin?
Russell.
Oh my gosh, small world. I was on the team with her.
Oh, funny. I mean,
Yeah.
we're Filipino, we're always connected, right?
I
So, I
know,
mean,
such a small
uh,
world. Oh my gosh, I gotta let her know I said what's up.
okay, I will. I will. I just actually saw her a couple days ago, so I'll
Oh
let her
my
know that you said
gosh.
hi. But so you went through high school. You were a drummer. It was drummer like in a band, not like in drumline, because I'm a band geek.
I was in both. So I was in the drum line. So like literally we were like the best drum line in Orange County or in Southern California to be exact. Yeah, because we it was pretty big back in the day as far as marching band. Yeah, I did the whole thing like band camp and like all those crazy drills. So we were like super like into it. I did
Mhm.
band too as far as like a band. It was more of I did more of what do you call it? Like praise and worship at church. I did church
Mhm.
band. I was like literally every Sunday I was like their drummer, but this is when I was like 14, I think. I was like 14, 15, and I was just a little kid playing with a bunch of older folk. I'm just like
That's
but it was
cool.
good. Yeah, it was a
It's
cool
typical though, right? Like with when you're involved with the church, it's the mixture of generations. The youngins
yeah.
and the
Yeah, no, it was cool because like my dad, he like him and his brothers and his cousins, we all like growing up, they were like they're always playing the guitar, drinking beers and stuff. So it was pretty like I grew up in that type of family where it's just like music is always around. And then yeah, it just led me into like finding passion into like arts, music,
yeah.
and yeah, it just kind of led me here.
Yeah, I mean, it sounds like you come from a very creative background. So kind of like just backing up as like you were growing up, was your mom or dad, were they the cooks of the family, and were you ever involved with cooking while you were a kid?
Oh, my mom actually, yeah, my mom and dad were they cooked a lot at home. Um, they didn't really like teach me until my dad had to go work in Korea, and
Mhm.
then that's when me and my mom obviously followed my dad to Korea. So they moved there for like about a year, maybe year and a half. So they left me and my brother here in California. So we're just like, she was like, you have to learn how to cook for yourself because like it's just you two. I mean, I'm pretty old. I was like probably 16, 17 or whatever when they left me here. And then I was like, okay. So I started looking up all like or they started giving me recipes, and my mom would teach me through the phone like simple stuff like adobo,
Yeah.
just like fried chicken. But then it was pretty cool. I just got interested in it. I think that was the biggest. I think that was the biggest defining moment in my career, was just when my mom was like telling me recipes through the phone, and then I just found joy. I found joy in it because like at the end of the meal, I'm like, oh man, I just made adobo. You know what I mean? So that was pretty. That was a pretty cool thing. But I mean, I guess as far as inspiration, growing up was my Lola. My Lola always
Mhm.
waking up to like fresh fried tilapia,
Yeah.
or palabok, pancit palabok. Yeah, those are the memories I always keep on seeing. Like just replaying like the memories of my nana just calling me, and tilapia and your patis and your calamansi. You're just eating with your hands. I'm just
Yeah,
like, yeah, this is
right?
great. So
Do they
I mean,
ever like fry tuyo or tuyo?
no. I mean, I was super like American, so I only ate like her palabok and tilapia. Always.
Awesome. So that's really when you realized that you wanted to become a chef, is like, through the conversations with your mom, guiding you through the recipes over the phone.
Yeah.
They were in Korea.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So I mean, at the time, I'm a high school kid, so I just started working, so I was barely making any money, so I was just like, I'm going to cook more at home. So just me and my brother. My brother wasn't really a cook, so I just cooked for him. But yeah, it's through that experience when they moved away from California, that's when I started falling in love with cooking.
No, that's great. So again, for everybody that's just joining us today, we are celebrating Filipino Food Month this April, and we have Josh Espinosa, creator and executive chef of Sampa. And we have some comments. I'm gonna flash them real
Oh
quick.
wait, how do you? Oh, you could see it.
I
I
can see it.
used
I
to.
can see it.
Oh,
I
you can
used
see it. I can't see it. I
I
used to
used to
steal
steal
cons,
calamansi
stuff
stuff.
them in my pockets when I was 5 in Manila. And I'm 33 and I was just stuffing a lot in my bag. I have like 20 I just literally came back from picking calamansi, and I have like probably 20-30 pounds of calamansi. So it's pretty, it's expensive. Yeah,
Yeah, it is.
yeah. I went to Seafood City, just like maybe like quarter pound is like $5. I'm just like, geez.
Somebody says Lolas are the
Lola, yeah,
best.
Lolas are the best. Yes,
Yeah.
I agree.
Sampa represent.
Sampa represent.
And I think for those of our Facebook user, if you connect your account to StreamYard, we'll be able to see who is commenting. And I think you have some fans because this just popped up. That to be one of your friends.
Oh my god!
So you have some fans. So take us back to like culinary school, like when you decided to go in, and what was that process, and what was that like?
All right, so going to culinary school, well, the transition into being a chef was kind of hard to accept at the time because I can't, as you know, I was a dancer, so I was dancing full time. I was literally teaching at a few different studios all over OC, and then I was doing it like professionally too. So I was doing like agency stuff. I was doing auditioning, and then going into cooking. Yeah.
Was there any big names that you danced for?
I did America's Got Talent. I was one of the contestants for America's Got Talent with a group called Six Step. Okay. I did So You Think You Dance. I did like, it's like older shows like Live to Dance with Paula Abdul. I did like shows like Mob. This is like back, so it's like back in the day, so like about 8 to 10 years ago. So I did those shows for a little bit.
Well, here's a little secret too. I actually competed on a dance competition show.
Oh yeah,
yeah, it was on country music television. So it was me and my friends, we competed. But anyway,
yeah, I haven't heard of that. But is there any way we could pull up the video and just show it on the screen?
There is a video. I won't share that. You'll have to dig it up. I'll share it myself. So if anybody wants to see it, it's called. I won't even reveal the name of the show. I just can't. Anyway, sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
No, you're good. You're good.
Culinary school.
But yeah, going back to culinary school. So it was, so my parents came back from Korea, and then like the dance life is kind of hard because you audition, it's not guaranteed to, you're not guaranteed to get the job, so it's like you never know, like, whether you're gonna be making money or not. So I thought to myself, I mean, for a lot of people they make money right away, but I'm not that talented dancer like all the crazy choreographers out there, but I needed to find a way to, like, make some sort of steady income, you can say. And then my mom she was like, you love to cook, so why don't you check out cooking? And then it took a while for me to kind of accept, like, she told me this like for like a whole year, and I didn't like really bite it until like the year later. It was more I was like, all right, mom, I'll give it a shot. So she's like, let's go check out culinary school. So I went to Le Cordon Bleu in Pasadena.
Okay.
And then I don't know, I think it was like, they get you right off the bat. Like once you get in, you're like, oh, are you ready to sign? I'm like, all right, cool. Like it was sick. It was just like new. It was a new classroom, new environment. I'd never been like really down in LA before. Just like new people, welcoming people. It's just everything's all clean. I was just like, I kind of like this. This is cool. And then, at the time, being a chef wasn't really, for me, it wasn't like the in thing. So I was just like kind of hard to kind of transition into it. And yeah, because I was going to college for like being an engineer, or I even thought about getting into the medical field, and then which there's no problem with any of those, but like I'm a creative, so I was like, mom, this doesn't make me happy right now. And then then that's when she brought me to Le Cordon Bleu in Pasadena, and then from there, throughout my 2 years there, I got to learn basic techniques, as far as like just regular basic, like your French technique, your pastas, kitchen etiquette, all that stuff. And then after culinary school, I just went into fine dining. Like I went to Pelican Hill in Newport Beach. I don't know if you're You've heard that. So it's
been to a couple weddings there. Yes.
yeah. So it's crazy. Yeah. So I did the weddings. I did a bunch of celebrity weddings there. So I'm like a newbie. I'm a newbie there. I'm like my actually it was crazy. My first chef, he's French. So he was like he was crazy. I was like, I know he got to a point where he had a plate and he threw it at me. He's like yelling in French, and I was just like, I don't know if I want to be a chef anymore.
So it's true that like chefs from France, or even like the whole Gordon Ramsay thing, like that's almost like true to life.
Yeah, right? Yeah, for the most part. I mean, like it depends on where you like, where you go, but like most chefs were trained that way. Even for me, I was trained that way, like where you kind of have like to have like thick skin, or else you're not gonna make it. Like I have like people coming up in my face. I have chefs yelling at me. But I mean, like at the end of the day, it was just like, they're, they have the right intentions, even though like, yeah, I'll get even pissed if like, if they yell at me, but at the end of the day, it's like, I look at the bigger picture. I'm just like, you know what? They come talk to me afterwards. They're like, I'm sorry I blew up on you, but this is why. They kind of look at me as like they're mentoring me. So
yeah, so it's like tough love, right? Because they
want tough love, exactly.
To improve your craft, and if that's their way.
Yeah,
that's their way.
Exactly. Yeah, but growing up, I just grew up in more fine dining restaurants.
Yeah, I just wanted to go back to your mom real fast, because it sounds like she was very supportive of you being in the creative arts, culinary arts, versus like, we always hear that like parents really pushing them to be nurses and engineers, a postman. Like, so your parents really said, we see your talent, let's push you that way.
Yeah, ever since I was young, my parents were very supportive of literally everything I did. My dad, when I was a kid, I was playing basketball league, and my dad was very supportive of that. When I got into dance, my mom was actually supportive for that. I mean, even though she wasn't the greatest fan of it, but at the end of the day, she's if you're gonna do it, be 100% in it, same thing with my dad. And then even with was it like music, same thing. They were there to support. Even my pop-ups, when I started getting to doing my own stuff, they were there to support. So I'm very thankful. My parents were like, there with me like every step of the way. So it's cool.
And shout out to your parents. They're probably watching right now.
Yeah, they're probably watching. They're like calling me. I had to text them about earlier. I had to text them like, don't call me right now.
You started at Pelican Hill, and I saw that, your resume is pretty impressive. I mean, you work at some of the top restaurants in LA.
Yeah.
Talk to me.
So I started off at Pelican Hill. I was there for about a year. It's like my externship. So I did like weddings and stuff, and I was working at I already forgot what the restaurant is, but I did their restaurant over there. And then I moved I started doing I went to Din Tai Fung, the dumpling place. Yeah, I was one of the guys that you saw folding dumplings.
In the window?
In the window. Yeah, I was there. And then I was there for a year. And then I moved it on to, I was working like multiple jobs. I was not multiple jobs, but after that, I worked in downtown Disney at a place called Catal, while working at a place called Anki. Anki is that's where I kind of started, like, that's when I started growing. So Anki, which is a sister restaurant to Crustacean, which is in Beverly Hills. So I started doing Anki for about 3 years, and they promoted me to a sous chef to open up the restaurant in Beverly Hills. And then I was there about 4 years in Crustacean, and then I started doing my own thing.
Yeah, no, you were the sous chef, right? Is what I saw.
Yeah. So I was the sous chef. I eventually ended up doing like, I ended up opening up another restaurant, which is upstairs of like a 12 course, 14 course like tasting menu. It was called a Dalat Rose, which is it was on track to becoming a Michelin star restaurant, but the pandemic literally hit when we're about to get going. We're like, oh man. But it was a cool experience. I mean, like throughout my career, I did more fine dining. I kind of met like, honestly, I just met the right people, and then they kind of everyone that I worked for took me under their wing. And as an aspiring chef, like I always wanted to learn more. So I was like, the owners of Crustacean literally took me under their wing. I was learning like I was learning like the ins and outs. Like they didn't really teach me like specifically, but I was so close enough to them where I'm like, oh, so this is how you run a restaurant, or like this is how, like, even I helped open up like a couple of the restaurants, and I was like, oh, this is how we open up a restaurant. So those experiences kind of helped me open up Sampa.
So talk to us a little bit about, like, you went through your experience, you were learning from these like top restaurants in LA, in Southern California. What was it that made you decide, like, I want to open up my own restaurant?
It was during crustacean. I mean, I've always like throughout my cooking career, I was like always thinking about, like, even when I was working at Din Tai Fung, I was like folding dumplings. I was just like, that would be so cool if like sinigang was in this dumpling. I was like, it's those little things that spark up. Yeah. And then throughout, like, experiences where I was just like, I was eating at a Korean fried chicken place. I was just like, that'd be kind of cool if there was a calamansi flavor chicken wing, and like me and my friends always love going to this local Korean fried chicken. And then it was just like little stuff like that. And then when I wanted to do like Filipino, I guess, fine dining, it was during crustacean. My friend was just like, at the time we did a collaboration called Kaichin. It was like a Filipino Korean fine dining. And then he was like not afraid to go. I was like, you know what, let's do it. And then we started creating the menu. I wanted already, like, I had a bunch of stuff that I really wanted to release. And then we did that for a good like half a year, and then we blew up pretty fast. And then so I've always wanted to do Filipino fine dining, but never, I always try, like, there's times where, like, during Christmas or Thanksgiving, when I see my family, like, I would, like, take pictures of my adobo looking nice, or like, yeah, it was that. But then I was like, throughout my years, I was like, I could do something different. Yeah, exactly. And then and like the thing was, there was never really a restaurant that was like doing like intricate fine dining stuff, you can say, which I was exposed to. I mean, fortunately, crustacean, like the chef Helene On, she's considered like the mother of fusion. They were here since they were here since probably, I think, the 60s or something like that. So she like created Vietnamese fusion. And then, like, I thought to myself, I was like, you know what, like, I'm learning from the one of the best chefs that created fusion. Like, I need to represent her, like, for my culture, Yeah. And then, even just being with their family, like, I was in Mexico, they brought me over to Mexico to cook. And then I was having dinner with the family. And then they just told me all their whole story as their, when coming to America, opening up a restaurant, opening multiple restaurants. And there I was like super inspired. I was like, and I told them, I was like, I want to do this for my culture. I want to do like fine dining Filipino. I was like, you guys inspire me, and like, I want to represent you guys as much as my culture. So and like, it brought me here, and like, I didn't even know, like, to be honest, I was just doing all this. I was just do everything for fun. Yeah. And then, but people on my friends are like, yo, this is cool. This is dope. It's like, okay, I think I have something going.
So again, thank you to everybody that's joined us for the special interview with Josh Espinosa from Sampa to celebrate Filipino Food Month. If you have any questions, feel free to comment, and we'll be able to get to those sometime during the interview. So I know, like, the pandemic kind of hindered a lot of plans for people. I know, because I've been following you. We met through Clubhouse. Yep. That you were doing like pop-ups and like tastings, and like, how was that experience, like, to eventually open your physical location?
That experience was so much fun. I think when I did my first pop-up ever, that was like, it was so nerve-wracking, because my whole dishes, everything I did was focused on me. You know what I mean? Like, this is my thing. It was so much fun, but it was just also nerve-wracking, because like, like, how about if the food doesn't come out on time, or how about if, people don't like it? I mean, I'm very confident about my skills, but it was just, those little, those things that you ask yourself, second guess yourself, and you're like, like, are you sure people are just saying this or like?
Yeah.
But then one thing led after another. I mean, every time I keep doing it, like I start getting better. You know, whether it's just food or understanding how to, I don't know, just understanding how to create these events. And then fortunately for me, my family and friends are like my biggest supporters. So like
Mhm.
the dance community is a big plus because like all our friends are like, I guess in the dance community, all our friends that I grew up with are now like super influencers or like really famous dance crews now, like the Kinjas or the Jabwalkies or Choreo Cookies or Cabo Modern.
Yeah.
But then like they're all my close friends, so they like come out to my events and they just blast me, right? So like after that, it's just like a trickle effect. It's a trickle effect of, oh, then their family sees it, and then all of a sudden, you know, the Filipino community sees it, and
Mhm.
then the food community sees it. Like now, it's like it's it's getting bigger and bigger.
No,
But yeah,
I
no,
can
it's
relate.
a cool experience.
Yeah, I can relate with you with that, just because, like, for me, like I started off as a baker, and it was all just a hobby, and people were asking, like, "Can I buy this? Can I order this?" And like, the big group of my supporters really have been my friends from UCI who
Yeah,
I graduated with, and then they just kept on like spreading the word. So it's like I'm in a good place with it right now. So it's nice to see the support of our friends
yeah,
who don't ask for discounts. We'll talk
yeah,
about that later.
yeah.
That's
Oh yeah,
another
for sure, for sure.
issue. uh,
Sorry, let me check this. Okay,
yeah,
let's check
yeah.
if my phone is okay. Okay,
You're totally good.
we're
But
good. We're good.
that's a different issue. But obviously, we want to really, when you're supporting somebody like who has their own business, you want to fully support them. That means you know
Yeah, for
paying full
sure, for sure.
price, yeah, and like supporting them wholeheartedly. I kind of want to get into your creative process because some of the dishes that you create are like obviously you're doing a fusion of Filipino fine dining dishes. So how do you come up with your dishes and your recipes?
It's crazy. Okay, so one, it's a lot of experiences, and then a lot of times I was drunk. A lot of times I was drunk. It means a lot.
That's when the best creativity comes out is when you're drunk.
Yeah. No, it's cool because like I hang out with my friends a lot. I hang out with my family a lot. What happens is like I thought to myself, like I'm learning from the best chefs, right? So
Mhm.
I'm learning like I'm learning French technique, I'm learning Italian technique, I'm learning Vietnamese, American, like all above. And then my creation process is more of like, okay, so I have the basic techniques of like pretty much almost all the cultures, or like even just like basic cooking techniques, like from sauces to doughs to desserts. I know my basic techniques. And then I was just like, there are times when I'm just like hanging out with my friends, or like, for example, like I called my friends over, like, hey, we're gonna have taco night. And then like, I remember in my fridge, I was like, oh dude, I have leftover kare kare, like oh, that'd be so cool if I put the kare kare in a tamale. And then, my friends would come in and like, and then I would make these tamales with a sauce and the crumble on top. And then, it's those times where it's just like, and all my friends had it and were like, yo, do this, like put this in your menu, put this in your menu. And then like, it's just small, it's all those experiences. Like people, what's cool, like a lot of our friends give me like inspiration, like, oh, you should do this. Like,
Mhm.
hey, that's a cool idea. Or you should do that. Or like the sinigang shalambao was inspiration when I was thinking
Mhm.
when I was folding so many dumplings. And then I was like, that was actually my first dish like ever, was the sinigang shalambao, and that kind of blew us up.
Wow.
I And then there was also the technique of like learning how to make the dough, or even coloring the dough with natural ingredients, which the dough is like red, which I made with red beet. So I was like, okay,
Mhm.
I'm gonna make this like super like intricate and technique, with a bunch of technique, and make it nice and pretty, tasteful. And that was like my biggest dish. And then followed the tamales, and then the ube cheesecake. And then yeah, it's honestly, it's like my plates are like stories
Mhm.
of my childhood. Um, they represent, my when my dad cooked me food, when my Lola. But it's just all experiences, and then just at the end of the day, it's just like I'll put whatever in it, and then like no one can tell me I'm wrong, because like this is cool, this is
Yeah.
cool.
What was the scariest thing like opening up your own business?
Opening up my own business. I think the scariest part is more failure. Like I always like, I think that's the biggest part when I'm getting into it. I was just like, is this like, is this gonna work, or is this like,
Mhm.
like you just second guess yourself. Like, I just started saying, like, I knew I'm like confident, but it's just like, those things that that devil's talking to me is like, are you sure you can do it? Like,
Mhm.
it's I think it's more scared of failure. Because at the time, when I opened up my business, I quit crustacean. I was like,
Mhm.
you know, I was talking to my partner Jenny, and I was just like, it's either crustacean, stay with crustacean, or start my own business. It's like one or the other. And then I asked her, I was like, hey, if I quit crustacean, like, will I be able to survive? And she's like, yeah, you could survive. Like, we do numbers every day, like from our pop-ups, and she's like,
Mhm.
the traction is there.
Yeah.
So I think that was the hardest part of getting into my business, was like, will I survive? I'm not going to get any income anymore. Is like, I'm full blown into my business. So this failure is definitely scary, because, like, I'm living with my brother right now. So it's me and my brother, and then my brother's like, yo, I believe in you. Just as long as we could pay rent, like, well, you're
Yeah.
good. I was like, all right, all right. But yeah, but fortunately everything is cool. But yeah, that was the scariest part.
Yeah, it sounds like you have a great support network because, like, when you're starting a business, the scariest step is always that first step of actually announcing that you're gonna do something on your
Yeah.
own to put your food out there. And it's just great that, because I know Jenny, she comes from another culinary background, like more on the business side.
Yeah.
We should have invited Jenny, but I know
No,
she's
Jenny's. Well, I'm at her house right now. Hey, Jenny, are you watch? I think she's watching.
she's
Hey,
watching
Jenny.
because I
she's laughing right now. I'm actually at her house. Me and her just went to go picking calamansi.
oh my god.
Wait, no, let me get her in. Let me get her in. Hey, Jenny.
Just send her the link, but because you two partnered up to form Sampa, because I mean, I know that you have your culinary background. She worked at a different restaurant too, right?
I don't know if she worked in a. I don't know if she worked in a restaurant. Maybe she did. I know she was doing like she was like a host or something. But so me and Jenny, our relationship is pretty funny and cool at the same time. We were 16 when we met. We were both, obviously, when you guys know, we're dancers.
Yep.
So we were like in the studio, and that's when I first met her. She's a freestyler like crazy. I'm gonna hype her up. She's a crazy freestyler. And then I was like, okay, so I got to know her. Like I was like b-boying, and then but we're the young cats. So we're like all our friends are like older at the time.
Right.
So we were the young ones, and I was like,
Well, be careful what
I
you
was
say
like kind of.
older. I'm older than you, so
Oh yeah, yeah.
be careful.
Man, I'm old now, so
Not as
I'm
old as
with you,
I
brother.
am.
I'm
So
with you, brother. I'm with you. Yeah. So I met her when we're 16, and then then I found out she goes to UCI, or she was going to attend UCI, and I was like, hey, like I want to try out for Cabo Modern, and she's like, I want to try out for Cabo Modern too. It was like, do you want to be partners? Then eventually we made the team, and then through that experience, we became close friends. We just became close friends, and then throughout our friendship, it's just like we always we see each other at parties. We'll hit each other up, like see what we're doing. Um, and then I already knew like what her background was. Like she's in marketing, so
mhm.
I knew what her strength was. And then when pandemic hit, when I started Sampa, I hit her up. I was like, hey, I was like, Jenny, I have this idea. I was like, you want to help me out? And then she's like, yeah, I'll help you out. And this was more of like just out of fun and love, just out of love. We weren't thinking this was going to be like huge. And then it was just more of a French thing. Like, yeah, I got you. Like, so we literally set up the business. She helped me set up the
Mhm.
business. She started helping me market my food. And then obviously down the line, it started getting bigger. We're like, okay, I think Jenny, I think it's time we become serious about this. And then now I made her co-owner alongside with my cousin Bianca. And it's I guess it's a family business, you can say.
That's cool. So how did you come up with the name Sampa? Because I think I know where it came from, but can you tell our audience where you came up with the name?
Sampa is short for Sampaguita, which is the flower of the Philippines,
Yeah.
the national flower of the Philippines. I think it was more, I wanted something very short and elegant to represent my food, and then nothing represented better than the Sampaguita flower. So the funny story is, after I ended things with my partner at the time, called Kaichin. I was just like, man, how do I rebrand myself? And then so I made a list of like names. It was like, I think I still have it, but I made a list of names, but Sampa was in like the number one choice. So I asked my cousin. I was actually doing a SIPA event, for like a charity event, and then when I was making the tamales, and then I asked her, I was like, hey, I need help rebranding. Can you help me with a name? And then she comes up to me and then she goes, what about Sampa? And I was like, what? I didn't even tell her anything. I was like, that's it. It's meant to be. I didn't tell her anything about my ideas of any names. She just was like, what about Sampa? And I was like, that's it.
Yeah, no, that's cool.
It's cool.
And I'm glad that it was at the SIPA event because I'm on the board of directors for SIPA. So shout out to SIPA.
SIPA, what's up?
So, so you open your restaurant. It's in full service now. So what's the experience you want your customers to have when they come and visit Sampa?
The experience that yeah, it's more of the vibe, it's more of the vibe. I think for us, fortunately our core staff, we're pretty fun people. I mean, as far as our personality, we're not shy to talk to anybody. We're like, we want our customers to kind of more feel who we really are as people, like, we do a lot of R&D as a team, like research and development, like as a team. And like at some restaurants it feels very like almost very robotic, like I have to say these things. For us, we really want to know you guys. I mean, like even at this point of our business, like we have time to get to connect with people, like I could tell you what the dish is, or just really get to, I don't know, just to have like a one-on-one or a four, like like just if it's a group of people, I get to talk to people. Like I'm not shy to talk to people. So once they get in, it's more of like we want to give it more of the customer experience as like our vibe, like give them our vibe.
So what are some of your goals for the future of Sampa?
Additional locations? Oh yeah. So for short term, we're gonna officially open up indoor. I mean, we're doing indoor right now, but if you call us and like if you reserve through phone, we'll let you in. We're kind of like soft launching, like we're kind of just practicing to get into indoor service because there's a specific way I want to train my servers and stuff. But indoor dining is we're gonna go public in a month and a half, possibly a month and a half. From there, our main goal, we want to open up hopefully around like West Hollywood area. We're trying to do WeHo. And then I guess long term, bring it back to Orange County, open up another one in Orange County and in New York.
Nice. Big plans and
I mean, I gotta manifest it in order to where
put it out there.
For sure.
Like you put it out there, it'll happen.
For sure.
So let me let me ask you this question before we move on to like some of the dishes that we have pictures of. What does it mean to be Filipino and a chef to you?
Being Filipino and a chef, or being a Filipino chef?
Being a Filipino chef.
Oh man, especially at this part of my life, I feel like it's funny. My chefs, like one of my chefs asked me, he's like, hey man, like you're pretty much carrying, like in the food industry, you're gonna be carrying your culture on your back. Like, are you sure you want to do that? And I was like, you know what, you're kind of right, because like all eyes is pretty much on me now, like to kind of if I do something wrong, like like it, like people are going to be looking at me like wrong. But at the end of the day, it's just like, I'm very proud to be Filipino. I'm very proud to be Filipino American, to be exact too. I want to represent our country. I want to represent us in a beautiful light. Like not all Filipino food is very fatty. Like the ingredients are beautiful. You know what I mean? And if I could show that to the world, in the mainstream world, people are like, like I'm like thinking like, why could French be fine dining? Why could Japanese could be fine dining? Why could Mexican food be fine dining? Like, and then Filipino food has never always been in the forefront. It's just there. And if I can open that up, I think people are going to be wowed.
Yeah.
Like I think this other day I had 8 Koreans coming in, and they're like, I never had Filipino food before. And then so when they came in, I gave them the calamansi wings. It comes with the calamansi, and he's like, what's this? And I was like, oh, it's calamansi. It's like it's a citrus of the Philippines. And he's like, oh, I never had it before. And he like, he took a taste of it. And then, but you think about like, it's those little things like that where we're introduced, like for Sampa, we're introducing Filipino ingredients. I think that's what makes me so happy. Like, we have people from different races coming in, and they're like, what's a bogohong? Like what, it's introducing it. And then like I think I'm doing my job for that. I know like I have gotten hate about like, oh, your food isn't traditional Filipino food. I mean, it isn't. Yeah. But I mean, but in order for me to make these food, I have to make traditional food first. Like so. Yeah. I mean, I got some backlash about it, but it doesn't really faze me about it. But it's just like, but at the end of the day, it's like it's cool to see people trying new things and learning our Filipino ingredients. Like one guy asked me like, what's polvoron? I was like, oh shoot, this is cool. Well, polvoron's kind of like a candy in the Philippines. It's a powdered candy. So it's pretty cool. It's a pretty cool experience right now. I'm just like, I'm not the very most, I can't even speak Tagalog, but I'm very American, but it's cool to like, we're introducing it in a way where people are like, are very interested in it. And they're like, honestly, everyone's like, wowed every time they come in. I don't know if they're just saying that, but everyone's like, this is really good.
No,
so
I totally agree with everything that you're saying. Cause like, when people think about food, they're like, oh, let's go out to eat. What do you want to get? They probably will say, oh, let's go get Italian, let's get Chinese, let's get Thai. But they never said, let's go get Filipino. And I know that people are saying that there's this Filipino food boom, but there's still a lot more work for us to do. And people like you who are being pioneers, I'm calling you a pioneer, in the fine dining experience, who's going to help us, everybody, bring out our culture, bring out the flavors that we want everybody to taste. So that way, when people think of like, what should we go eat tonight? Filipino, let's go.
Yeah.
Right?
No, for sure. I mean, that's my thing too, is like, I'm having so much fun just creating these dishes. Like my favorite, like traditional Filipino, like it's cool. Like when first time I made lechon ever, I was just like, whoa, I made lechon. And then now like I'm creating I made a lechon fried rice with my homemade mang tomas, like it's cool. It's cool to like, I'm introducing it to like a lot of new folks. And at the end of the day, it's like, I'm doing my job of just being like I don't know, just being a chef, just to create good food, and to give them an experience. And then like also I think our Filipino hospitality shines through our group too. So everyone's like, oh, it's just like a Filipino, it's just like a Filipino house, but in a different way, like in a different like different swagger, you can say.
I know we're kind of going a little long, but like, do you ever do this? Because I do this. I watch people's reactions when they bite into like my desserts. Do you do that? Because then when they have that satisfaction, it's like, okay, I did my job.
Yeah, no, for sure. I think especially for desserts, because my forte before wasn't really desserts, but I know I was kind of like put into a position where I had to be the pastry chef at my other restaurant. And then I learned my basic techniques, but especially with desserts, I'm just like, every time I make it, I'm like, yes, I made a cheesecake, or or I made a cake, like that's when and then when I see people like, I love your hala hala tres leches cake, or I love your ube
Mm.
cheesecake, and I'm just like,
Mhm.
Ty, this is cool, because I was not a pastry chef.
It's like a badge of honor. We have a
Yeah, I'm like,
question that came in. Are you also considering fusion or strictly Filipino food? I mean, your food's pretty much fusion, right?
it's pretty much fusion. It's pretty much fusion. But like again, at the end of the day, in order for me to make fusion food, I have to make traditional food first. So I didn't really want to say I was fusion, but I guess that's what it is, pretty much.
Yeah. Well, I'm starting to get hungry, but I want to get to these pictures of your
Oh,
dishes
okay.
because they
Ooh,
look
nice.
so good. So talk to us like these photos.
All right. So the middle is our logo.
We know that. Let's go to your
Oh
left.
yeah, let's talk about the logo.
Oh yeah, let's go
So
talk
the
about the
logo.
photo.
I haven't really explained the logo to anyone actually. So
Yeah.
the logo is created by my friend Yosuke, who was on Kaba Modern too. Um, as you can see, that's the Sampakita flowers right there on the top. But it's also shaped like a rice bowl, right? But yeah, and then also it is the sun coming out of the ocean, so it's kind of representing the Filipino sun as well. So and also Sampa in Tagalog is also to rise or to climb. So it's the rising sun. So yeah, that's the kind of the detail of our logo.
No.
And then so to the left is actually, we just released that today. That is the Easter menu coming up. We have an event at Sampa Easter, April 17th. These are specials adding along to our dining menu. The first one to the very left corner, that is charred broccolini sauteed with garlic, shallots, white wine, red chili, Parmigiano Reggiano, calamansi zest. And then the bottom left is the palabok paella. So that's pretty cool. That's
Ooh.
I've always been a fan of paella. It's a Spanish dish, and then what perfect way to do Spanish and Filipino, since the history with us and Spaniards. So I did a palabok paella. It has a lobster tail, black mussels, some shrimp, some chicharron crumble, some calamansi, and then the top right, that one's a really yummy one. That is the lamb shank caldereta.
Mm.
So I kind of cooked it like more French style. So the sauce is crazy bomb. It's caldereta but like braised, and then with it comes with crispy confit potatoes, which is really tasty with a bunch of herbs and all that stuff. And then the bottom is the dessert, which is our turon tart. So it's for me, I like being creative. So turon is obviously one of our favorite dishes growing up. It is a tart with a banana curd inside, jackfruit whip, brulee curd to be exact, to represent the caramelized banana, and it has berry gel on top. To the right, very right, is our popular dish in our menu, is our crispy duck pancit. So it's not like your regular. It's more like towards like pancit cantonish. But I wasn't really a big fan of the thin noodles. But I'm a big fan of thick noodles. So I was just like,
I
yo,
love
this is
pancit
really cool.
canton also.
Yeah. So
Flour noodles, yeah.
yeah, it has a lot of citrus. Patis has like your vegetables, like your snow peas, your carrots, your onions, your garlic. On top of that, I pan seared the skin. So it's kind of French style, where I based it with a bunch of aromatics with some thyme and some rosemary, and then I finish it off with some nice like a French style sauce on top of the duck, and then green onions on top.
Nice. I
Yeah.
have more pictures. We
Oh,
have to
ooh,
we
there
have
you go.
more pictures.
Oh, nice.
And we have you in action right there at the top.
There's me in action. I'm plating the ube ganache cupcake, which I actually have a guest pastry chef every once in a while. Her name is Allison, and that's her invention. She's a master at cupcakes. And then I was like, hey, can I have an idea for a Filipino cupcake? And she came up with this, and that was a cool one. I got to plate it for her. The left one is our lechon fried rice, which is Honestly, all of our dishes are pretty popular dishes right now.
Ooh.
So that one's pretty cool. This is wok tossed lechon fried rice. Lechon's made in house. Mangue de mas is made in house. Comes with a poached egg, some pickled daikon, carrots. There's some corn there, but that's like one of our favorites too. Sometimes we just eat it in the back. We have it also comes with vinegar, some chili vinegar, and then the ube cheesecake. Oh, it's my first like dessert dish ever. That one is an ube cheesecake. What makes it different? It's on polvorone crust, jackfruit whip, crispy ube chips, and ube dust. So it's pretty dish. People literally just come back just to get the cheesecake. So it's kind of fulfills me when people come back to get the cheesecake. I'm like, yes, I did it.
I'm really getting hungry, but for our audience, if you have any questions, we're almost done here. So if you have any questions, go ahead and put it to the comments. There is a question, but we're actually getting to our next slide because we want to know where people can find you.
Yeah. So you can find us in downtown LA Arts District. We are open Wednesday through Sunday from 11 to 2 for afternoons, and then open up for dinner for 4 to 8. That will change when indoor publicly opens. You can find us at Sampa on Instagram, sampa.la, or you can find my personal at Josh M3LO. But we are usually you can find us on Instagram a lot, and then you can, if you want to book us for any events or catering, or if you want to do events inside Sampa, you can email welcome@wearesampa.com.
Awesome. Actually, you just answered that person's questions. How do we order for catering? So I am getting so hungry right now from our talk with all the food. I promised that I will come by and visit.
Oh yeah, for sure. Let me know. Just let me know.
Yeah. And what's funny is like when you opened up your address, I was like, my office, because I actually work for the Red Cross. We're about 3 blocks down because you're right next to Ixta, right?
Yeah. We're in that same plaza. Yeah.
Yeah, we're about 3 blocks down. So
come through.
For sure.
Now you have no excuse.
Right? No, I'm really excited to come and visit. For our members, support Josh, support Jenny, support the team behind Sampa. Give us one last pitch for them to come out and check out the restaurant.
Oh, for sure. First and foremost, want to thank all of you guys for all your support. SoCal Filipinos, Jason, thank you for having me on. At the end of the day, I just want to represent the Philippines, our Filipino culture. We're young, but we're very motivated. Come through whenever. We have a bunch of dishes that are going to be released really, really soon. We do events every once a month, special events. Especially, we have a cool one coming up in October. Secret. We're gonna do like a Kamayan, but our way. So that's something to look forward to. But also, other than that, hope to see you guys at Sampa, and support all your Filipino local restaurants, businesses. Shout out to all my Filipino chefs out there. And yeah, thank you guys. Thank you.
No, thank you, Josh, for agreeing to do this. And, also you have SoCal Filipino support, my support, the community support. So again, thank you for helping us kick off Filipino Food Month.
For sure. Cool. I'm the first one. Oh, yeah.
You are first.
I'm the first one.
You're kicking it off. So it's been a pleasure.
The next one tops me.
So it's been a pleasure chatting with you. I look forward to seeing you at your restaurant.
For sure.
Just kind of quick updates not quick update, but here's what you can expect from SoCal Filipinos. This Saturday, we have an interview with the Fox TV show, The Cleaning Lady. So if you haven't checked out that show, make sure you do. We have Ruby Ibarra, the executive producer, Miranda Kwok, and a lot of I call them the Power Pinays because it's 8 of them on the panel of all Pinays that have worked on that show. It was Fox's highest rated TV show for this past season. So make sure you come join us this Saturday at 10 a.m. Then, in continuing our celebration for Filipino Food Month next Monday, April 18th at 6 p.m., we will be interviewing Spencer Hunter of Leah's Lumpias. He's from San Diego, and he was also on the Food Network's Great Food Truck Race.
Ooh.
So we'll be in for a special treat. Other than that, thank you again for joining us. Thank you, Josh, and thank you to all our viewers. Make sure you just share, like, comment, subscribe. And other than that, we'll see you at the next event, and have a good night.
Peace. Thank you, Jason. Is it done?